under less than half an hour. Lord, it started drizzling and it turned into a thunder shower. But the caddy kept on burning rubber. We kept on driving till we ran into some fall cover. We couldn't see a thing, but somehow we just kept on going. We kept on driving all night long and then into the morning. Fog had finally lifted when we looked to see where we was at. We're staring at a Colorado State policeman trooper. Go! Get out of Denver, better go! Get out of Denver, better go! Go! Get out of Denver, better go! Get out of Denver, 'cause you look just like a commie and you might just be a member. Better get out of Denver, better get out of Denver, better go! Get out of Denver, better go! Get out of Denver, better go! Go! Get out of Denver, better go! Get out of Denver, 'cause you look just like a commie and you might just be a member. Better get out of Denver, better go!
Protesters quickly became occupiers with the goal of shutting that facility down.
Absolutely. We are going to block the driveways with our bodies in peaceful resistance. We are going to disrupt ICE as much as possible. If they arrest us, if they take us away, more people will come.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler promised he would not use Portland police to assist. So,
Y'all foul! Y'all foul! Fell out! Fell out!
citing security concerns, federal officials closed it last Wednesday. And by Thursday, more than 100 occupiers were setting up camp. Days later, police officers with the Department of Homeland Security started warning the occupiers they were violating federal law, handing out flyers that were torn up by occupiers and returned with profanities.
Nazi agents! Racist! All cops! Your time's coming!
You're really going to keep recording, and there's families here at risk.
I'm filming you.
Why are you filming me?
You're at a public protest.
Okay, so you're not here for the protesters. Aren't you here to tell the world what the fuck ICE is doing to these families?
Get out! What are you doing? Touch me. You don't photograph me. You don't photograph me.
We do have a generation that I think we have raised with a great degree of entitlement, where it's like, the world owes me a living. Like, basically, you just don't reward bad behavior. We've got to stop rewarding bad behavior in America. When people don't work and produce, then they need to get kicked to the curb, get a damn job, carry your own weight. It's just that simple. We need accountability. Stop rewarding bad behavior, hold people accountable, make them carry their own weight. It's just that simple.
Pictures released by the U.S. Attorney show the arrest early this morning. One person refused to leave the front of the ICE building. Others chained their wrists together to make it harder to separate them, although police eventually did. Police raised the flag at the office and declared it back in federal control.
Now we have all the doors and entrances available. They're open. The facility is still closed for employees and visitors, but that should be happening here in the near future.
9 people were arrested. One was later released without charges, but the others face federal misdemeanors for failing to obey a police officer and blocking the entrance to the building. From Sky 8, you get an idea of the encampment here. Rows and rows of tents beside the ICE building, and lots of debris left out in front that had to be cleared away. As the day wore on, there was a prayer service.
Though evil seems to flourish like weeds, springing up vigorous in every corner, it will not last.
And lots of yelling at the federal police.
None of you have any moral.
And the shouting down of one man who dared to tell the protesters that ICE performed an important job.
You support Gestapo.
But no more arrests. A spokeswoman for the protest said it is discouraging that the entrance to the ICE office is back open again.
It's very discouraging because that means that they get to rip more families apart, terrorize more children. They're traumatizing a whole generation.
After power washing the area around the building, federal police said it would be back open for business sometime next week. And the protesters were angry. They say Portland police did take part in the action. Police and the mayor said that's not the case, that when federal police shut down the street, that the police arrived to help motorists find their way and that they were helping motorists, but not the federal police here.
You have been watching during your live reports, these protesters get right in the faces of the officers. They're yelling at them. They're making pleas. You were saying you saw at least one of the officers interacting. Have you been able to hear what they've been saying to these protesters?
I've been able to catch just a little bit of it, Jenny. At this point, that officer who was speaking appears to have backed away from them. What I have seen is a few of these officers, specifically this officer here on the left side right there in the center of your screen right now, was just explaining to a protester that he's not a public information officer, would not be able to give them any information whatsoever as these protesters are making pleas. That's what he is explaining right now as these protesters continue to talk to them, ask them questions. He is saying that it's not his authority to offer any public statements right now. Most of these officers are choosing to remain silent. We have seen a few different things of people calling them fascists, people calling them racists, people calling them out for just doing their jobs. Or using the phrase that they're just doing their jobs. I want to clarify that. I'm not making that statement of these officers are necessarily just doing their jobs. That is how these protesters feel, that these people are complicit in what they feel is gross inhumane.
How would you feel if somebody took your kids?
These protesters got their message across. Not happy with federal officers who came in and dismantled their demonstration.
It's really a shame what they're putting us through, all for helping people. It's becoming a crime to help a human being. It's sick.
For about 11 days now, protesters have camped at the entrance to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility at Portland's South Waterfront.
We want...
I want, me, mine, now.
We want ICE to stop operating in the state of Oregon entirely.
Federal officers have handed out flyers telling people they were breaking the law, obstructing the entrance to a federal building.
Today, on the fourth day of those notifications, is when we came in and said, okay, it's time to go. We gave them some warnings over loudspeakers, giving the opportunity to step away from the facility and move back.
While 9 people have been arrested, federal police haven't been engaging with protesters, and they're not doing much to the camp that has popped up alongside the ICE facility. They say that's because it's on public and private land. They're here to secure the federal building.
They put up this line and said, if you touch it, if you cross it, you will be arrested.
And while most of these protesters aren't crossing the police tape, they say they're staying put.
The camp is standing. We are here. We are not going anywhere.
People prioritize their hair. They prioritize their nails. Well, we choose to prioritize human life.
So back out here live, well, some people weren't expecting federal officers to move in this morning. Others say officers were playing loud rock music all night, so they felt something might happen. Protesters also tell me they spotted Portland police out here as well. I can say I did see one Portland police car blocking off a road down here. Of course, that made some down here angry because Mayor Ted Wheeler previously said he didn't want Portland police getting involved. But a Federal Protective Service spokesperson says what happened this morning was a federal operation not involving Portland police. The building is expected to fully open by next week, but as you heard protesters say, they are in this for the long haul.
Since early this morning when federal police swept in to arrest protesters on ICE property. Now we have team coverage as police form a line in front of the office, but protesters vow to stay put.
Trevor Ault was the first reporter on the scene early this morning. And Trevor, how has this scene evolved since those federal officers first moved in?
Well, Ken and Jenny, good afternoon. I would say both the protesters and the federal agents who are here are beginning to settle in after it's been now 6.5 hours, I would say, since these federal agents originally made their way through here. You can see them still blocking off the street. And I would say that as we get further in the morning, the presence is only growing. Now, this occupation has lasted more than a week and a half. It shut down the ICE facility shortly after it launched. 3 days ago, the federal government issued warnings that they would be forcing them off federal property, and they made good on that promise today. They removed all the tents and the signs that were blocking the ICE building, and in the process, we know at least 9 people were arrested. I talked to a spokesperson with the Federal Protective Service who said he didn't know what charges these people were facing, but said even though there were arrests, they didn't run into all that much resistance from protesters.
There was some, but nothing was violent or anything like that. So it was actually, I would say it was very calm. We're going to be here for a while and continue to maintain the security of this facility here beside us.
And just as they'll be here for the foreseeable future, the protesters are saying the same. Today I've seen a number of different protesters expressing their anger and their frustration at these officers, calling them Nazis, calling them fascists, sometimes pleading to their humanity. And agents have given very little in response, rarely even engaging with these protesters at all. And Ken and Jenny, what we're seeing now is sort of a contest of who is going to blink first between these two. Obviously, the federal agents can't stay here forever, and the protesters are vowing that they're not going to leave. They will be here for the long haul, planning to shut it down. And there's of course the possibility as soon as the federal presence leaves, these protesters might fill back in and try to shut down this ICE facility, because they have said that they will not be done until ICE is abolished. Reporting live in Southwest Portland, Trevor Ault, KOIN 6 News.
Yes, Trevor, looks like a peaceful standoff at this point.
All right, thank you, Trevor. Well, protesters tell us they were warned something was about to happen this morning.
Lisa Balick has been talking with them at the camp all morning long. And Lisa, what's the latest?
Yeah, we're a little bit closer to the entrance of the camp, and they tell me federal officers were playing loud music all night long. And at one point, they say they got a bit of a warning when they were playing the song Sleep with One Eye Open. I'm going to step aside here so you can take a look at the entrance to the camp. A lot of the protesters gathered there. Now, they continue to bring food and camping items into the encampment alongside the ICE building, an area that is not federal property. Now, when Homeland Security made their move this morning, protesters accused plainclothes officers of pushing down fences they had put up and coming into the camp and taking cell phones that were charging. But the tents alongside the ICE building remain at this hour, along with more than 100 protesters in the camp.
The plan is to stand strong and remain vigilant. This is something that needs to stop. Families are being destroyed. We've played audio for them. They're very cold-hearted people out here. It's really a shame what they're putting us through, all for helping people. It's becoming a crime to help a human.
Now, protesters are using bullhorns verbally to try and engage the officers who are protecting the ICE building. So it is remaining open now, finally, after 8 days of being shut down. We have seen Homeland Security vehicles leaving the building's gate with officers inside. The area around here is now open to traffic, but we're waiting to see if Homeland Security brings in fencing or other types of barricades to wall off the ICE building to replace the officer blockade. Also, having walked around the front of the building and the side, the back of the encampment is pretty quiet, but along the Macadam Avenue side, we have seen a line of officers blocking off the sidewalk in front of the ICE building, keeping protesters and anybody else off the area. But again, this will continue for only so long until they bring in some kind of fencing or barricades to provide more security for the ICE building, which they say they intend to keep open. Live in Southwest Portland, Lisa Balick, KOIN 6 News.
So again, Lisa, the protesters remain on the city property. Have we heard anything from any city officials about what they plan to do?
No, the latest again from the mayor's office, from city council members, is they are taking a hands-off situation, saying this is a federal issue and they have no intention of touching the actual camp. But we understand from people who were here this morning when they first moved in, the federal officers, that there were Portland police officers who were here helping just with the surrounding streets in terms of traffic control, not with any of the enforcement here at the actual in front of the ICE building, but with the parking and with the traffic control of that area. So that's what we know. Again, we have not seen any Portland police officers down here, strictly Homeland Security officers, most of them holding up wooden sticks to try and keep their distance from the protesters.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.